Kevin McKenna.
Thank you, Sir Roger. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. And I'd really like to say a big thank you to my honourable friend from Bracknell for enabling this debate to happen, and for everyone that's raised the issues here. I'm not going to add too much to the detail of what people have added, but have said already, but to talk a bit about the impacts on my constituents. I also need to declare an interest. I've reached 50 years of age without learning to drive, but recent changes to my circumstances at the start of July have meant there's a good reason to and a strong imperative. And when I was researching this over the summer for myself and my husband, it became very clear that that was not an easy and immediate option for either of us. So, but that wasn't a surprise given the amount of messages already in my inbox. And just by way of an example, a constituent of mine, Jai, came to my surgery on behalf of his daughter, who's desperate to start a career as a police officer, something that obviously we deeply need in our constituencies and across the country. She can't start the job because she needs to be able to drive for the job. She'll be working in shifts. All she could find was a driving test months down the line in Birmingham, 150 miles away. She's one of the luckier constituents that she could actually find one. Now, my constituency has some significant areas of deprivation. I don't know, Sir Roger, whether you've been looking at the data packs that were produced by the Thames Gateway Growth Board, the Thames Estuary Growth Board this week, but they show some really significant transport black spots in my constituency and in yours, often associated with the areas of deepest deprivation, where it takes hours to get to centres for employment. And frankly, although we need to improve public transport, although we need to improve those accessibility routes, it's going to take time. And also in constituencies like mine and many others in this room, with a lot of rural areas, we're always going to need to drive cars. It's a fundamental. The questions that I want to ask around the changes and improvements and steps that have been taken already are, there's been improvements to capacity. So the capacity and number of tests and people carrying out the tests. I want to know how sustainable that is and what's the plan for sustainability, and also what's been learned in terms of actually how could we do things differently in the future to make sure that we don't get into this mess again. The other thing is the issue of ticket touting. I mean, it's blatant, it's obviously ticket touting. The, available now with bots and other online grifters, frankly, turning a public service into a way for them to make money in a piratical way. What are the lessons for other implementations of digital services for this government, as increasingly that's the way that services will be delivered? Thank you.